welcome back to hour 2 of the birthday party. I am joined by two wonderful people here. I am joined by Mr. Bud-tastic Guy of the Rage of Sigmar podcast network. And I'm also joined by Mr. Jacob Berry, the CEO and CFO of the Rage of Sigmar podcast network.
You had a popper and I had nothing, so I had to improvise. It was that or my my model clippers, and I feel like I would have lost a lip or something.
Yeah, or teeth.
Yeah. First question. How are you both? Are you both well?
I'll let Bud go first.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing well. I beat Dayton last night, so that's all really good.
Suck it, Dayton, you stupid 50-year-old beautiful man.
Just barely. What I do is I take one of the best meta lists, and because I'm a really bad player, it turns me into an average player. So I'm the kind of guy who will take the Archeon Host Arcanum list with Kairos and turn that into a 3-2 list. So yay me!
Yeah, be careful when he runs Gits, let me tell you.
I think it's amazing that there's a list, Bud, that even you can run.
Yep. That's very, very true. Thanks.
Well, I mean, between the list and AOS reminders, it's almost idiot-proof. Almost.
No, if I used AOS reminders, I'd be better because I'd remember my rules. Half my problem is, what? Wait, Archeon can use his command ability on himself? That's a thing?
Yep.
Oh.
That sounds right. I've yet to play Bud, but I look forward to telling him all of his rules and then losing.
Yeah.
Because I'm both a consummate sportsman and just weirdly eidetic memory on really stupid minutia. Nothing useful, mind you, right? Like just stupid shit. But to answer your original question, because I think I've gotten off topic, I'm well, thank you.
It's okay. Honestly, I could just sit here and be like, chat, Jacob and Bud. An hour of your time, our time, made better by these two wonderful people.
We need to start this the right way then. When the moon is in the Nashville sky and Jacob turns his computer on. So, and then we can go straight into the Rage of Sigmar podcast, which is what we planned, right?
Yeah, so Tuesday morning, my dad drove me to the airport. Which airport you asked? Question.
Was it JFK? No,
it was actually LaGuardia.
Oh God! LaGuardia. Oh God! No, it's like I'm back again. Right. So thank you to Donaldinho for subscribing, and when he subscribes, says Colonel Cabbage is a terrible mod. I think that's because he timed him out in the chat a moment ago for giving him shit. I like at this point it's just a whole bunch of people who know each other well and give each other shit. This is fun. Right, so lovely to have you both on the show. If you don't know Bud and Jacob, you should. They're both wonderful people. I wonder how you both are. I've asked that. So my follow-up is Bud, and over to you, Jacob. Jacob first, how did you feel about the releases that we saw yesterday? Loads of releases.
Great question. I've got a 10-point plan to address the release. Step 1, cut a hole in a box. Step 2, no, I'm just kidding. I really look forward to seeing the Gravelords on the table. Losing vampire counts has been from 8th Ed and from Legends. Are you masturbating, Rob?
No. I'm sat on the. So this is a weird chair. So I don't have a very comfy chair. If anyone wants, this is my chair for the next 10 hours. It's not the nicest chair.
Worst back support ever.
Yeah, it's not good, but it's normally a stand-up desk, but I can't really stand up and paint, so I sit on this kind of weird chair, and then my belt ends up digging into me. There's a lot there to unpack, I know.
Yeah, there is. I'm going to need footage of the belt digging into your supple man flesh at some point today.
I've got so chunky over lockdown. This is something I need to, I've told you this already, in a phone call. One of the things, by the way, can I just say, straight off the bat, is both Bud and Jacob and Joe and a bunch of other people always call me regularly, to make sure I'm okay, which is just lovely. So thank you both for being you and being great people. It's much appreciated. Sorry, you were talking about the releases.
Yeah, right. Sorry. I distract myself so often. It's practice for when I have to be around Joe, because I have to stay laser focused to deal with all of his self distractions. So yeah, 8th Ed had a rich like a really strong army of vampire counts, right? You had like your blender lords and these giant hordes of zombies and skeletons and really cool monsters like vamp lords on zombie dragons and vargulfs, and they had the cool sort of creepy weird vargeists and stuff. And that's been notably absent in AOS. We sort of have that with flesh eater courts, but it's definitely been a hole that's felt in AOS, except for when Smorgan decides to play the like kookiest Hex Wraith and Vamp Lord armies, which are just super cool. But seeing that all coming back now and have it be AOSified is really exciting. Very excited about Blood Knights. A good friend of mine who runs NashCon, David Griffin, has some converted Blood Knights that are basically, it's like random vampires from the Coven Throne sitting on top of Thunderwolves or Thunderwolf Cav. And he ran Blood Knights back in the Wild West days of AOS 0.0, pre GHB and all that stuff. And so he's like, "Fuck! Now I just have to buy 5 more Thunderwolf Cav."
So he's not going to get the new ones.
Because Blood Knights are super fucking cool. No, I think he's probably going to put the Cav on top of them, but he's got to fit the theme, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm really hopeful we get new Zombie Dragon or new big monsters. Love Fellbats. I love seeing the game get actually good chaff, be it the Chaos Furies or Aether Wings or, I mean, like, Canary are upsettingly great chaff because they also hit like a ton of bricks if you use them right. But yeah, so getting Fellbats back, I'm hopeful that someday we don't get a rewrite of Tomb Kings, but they just re-release Carrion just for the sake of making Tristan really sad that he gets Carrion back with none of the cool Egyptian stuff. And yeah, I like how it sort of folds in with the Curse City stuff. I'm hopeful that the Curse City stuff actually works well in AOS, not just for Curse City. Okay. And now we have to talk about the real thing we're talking about, which is Kragnos. I really want Kragnos to be Kurnothi, and I really want Kurnothi to be Destruction Elves. I'm wish listing here, but how cool would that be?
Wow.
I think, yeah, I'm with you. I feel it because it's come from Gur, right? So like they say Gur, you think destruction. So I'm feeling that vibe. It's definitely going to be at a god level, right? Because everything else is at that kind of god level. All the other Broken Realms books, because it would be weird to be like God.
Hold on.
What's up?
Did you just spill the beans that Be'lakor is going to be a god?
Well, Be'lakor is a god. Is
no. No. He's the original Everchosen, but he's like he's not even deity level. Like he has his own fake sub-faction, but
he's
like Cetra.
Maybe he will. If you don't know, Bud's just taking constant shots at one of his Canadian friends in the chat.
That was my first.
What did you think about the release?
Well, I think kind of like Jacob, I think there was a hole in the hearts of everyone after 8th edition, kind of like when Edward left Bella and she had that hole in her heart.
Jacob.
That she tried to fill with Jacob, but it just didn't work.
I'm not good at filling holes.
No.
I fill a very small part of the hole, but
that's right. It's like concentric circles.
Right. It's like rolling a hot dog on a hallway.
That's right. I really enjoyed it. I love the vampire motif, and I'm very happy for all my undead friends who are getting models that they expected and hoped for upon the release.
And getting goatees.
Getting goatees. What the crap was that? What else did I enjoy about the release? The orc. I'm for the 40K. I'm not sold on it yet. Like, is it going to be one unit? Is it a whole kind of sub-faction thing? If it's just like that one unit, I'm like, okay. But if you're getting a whole like savage orc kind of 40K themed, then I might add a third 40K army, for which a game I rarely play.
Tina, he's going to do something bad.
No, Tina, nothing.
And bring you ice cream. Please tell me she's going to bring you ice cream.
I'm not going to say anything. Cursed City, I'm very excited about that. I think partly for gaming groups like in my school, I think Cursed City is going to be fabulous. Kids love vampires and kids love zombies. And it's a gateway drug. I'm going to drag them all in and then say, here, you need to buy a big army like this now. And then I have people to play, and then I won't tell you all the rules so that I can win games.
I mean, that's at the crux of it. That's what being a middle school teacher is not telling children everything they need to know and then punishing them for it on the test or in chess club or
later life.
Well, I mean, that's not me punishing them. That's just life punishing them.
That's why we have staff student games, is because staff need to feel good, and that's why they teach middle school, is because they know they might win at least 70% of the time.
Okay, so you guys have staff student games. I assume you're talking about curling and like moose rodeos, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. What else are there? Well, our national sport is lacrosse, so we do play lacrosse.
Is it
as well.
really? No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
You can only play that like 2 months out of the year in most of your country.
Lacrosse is the national sport of Canada?
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound backwards? Or
my
is it
students,
because hockey was taken by Russia and you guys didn't want to step on their toes?
Yep, that's totally it, because we were scared of getting nuked by them because the Russians are that crazy.
That's also why your national bird isn't the bald eagle, because you guys have way more bald eagles than the U.S. But you're like,
what's your national bird?
It's, I don't know, Canada goose, I think, because it's frickin' terrifying. When have you ever been terrified of an eagle? But every day, Donald walks in the park and he sees a Canada goose and he's like, I do not want to mess with that. And if Donald, like the Grot terrorist, won't mess with a Canada goose, you know it's the scariest being alive.
Okay, but to be fair, they're about the same height.
How do you two feel about the last 3 hosts we had on? Let's get a quick recap. Dayton, how do you guys feel about the Dayton man himself? Birthday suit.
Sexiest 50-year-old I've ever met.
Yeah,
I've never met, actually.
Yeah, me neither. He's way too beautiful.
Okay, good. All right. What about Owen fans? Owen Jackson.
Who? I'm just kidding. He's a man, a myth, a legend, and I can't wait to hammer his time.
Yeah.
Perfect. Bud?
He is the big dick energy of this show.
Agreed. That's agreed with that.
He's the real big dick, Alex.
That's right.
and then finally Donal. I think we've had some thoughts on him already, but how do you both feel about Donal?
I just feel like sometimes he comes up a little short. A lot of my jokes go over his head. It doesn't measure up, and I feel like he gets overlooked a lot, to be honest.
Wow. On my the first time ever that I was on this show, I pledged my undying love to Donal, and I would like to say that I continue my undying love for Donal. He is amazing. He should be on the show at least way more often than he is. I don't know why he's not answering your calls, Rob, because I know that you're really good at responding. So Donal must be the one that's not responding to your messages. So that's yep. Get more Donal.
My actual take on Donal.
Yeah.
My first real interaction with him, aside from like here and there on Twitter, was when he was your infield reporter, and he kept making super self-deprecating jokes about his father beating him. And like, I messaged you, Rob, and I was like, this man is hilarious. Is he okay?
I think the answer is yes. I think the answer is basically yes.
Yeah,
I think what's funny...
I was super impressed with that level of commitment, both to like a very triggering joke to some people, I assume, but also like just amazing levels of self-deprecating humor.
Yeah, he's a wonderful person. All three.
He's the Ricky Gervais of infield reporting.
There's really some different vibes, right? Donal is just out to harass people. Adam is just out to make everyone have a nice time. Owen's like turns up with the facts. He's there to deliver. Yeah, he's like,
there are no facts. Rob.
Artifact.
It's a
No
narrative.
data.
It's a narrative show.
That's true. All right, so I'm going to ask you two some questions. I'm going to go through our Q&A section to find out how you both have been and what's been going on. So past 369 days, lockdown is different. It's varied in different places. You both are both not in like remote places, but kind of like, to me, from someone from England, Jacob, you live in like a swanky like gated like amazing town from like some sort of like film, and then Bud, you live like the Amish, so like there's some kind of like is how I picture it. I think you guys have electricity because clearly you're on the screen, but I still feel you have a buggy, so I don't know how I'm putting those together, but that's where it is. So I know you guys, while locked down, I'm not sure about lockdown, but whatever. So highlights of the past year. Do you guys have an emotive sort of highlight that stands out before we get into more granular detail from the past 369 days?
So when lockdown started and before I really got into TTS, I had a pretty big hobby funk. I was unemployed, and so was my wife, and we were home with our baby, which is great. But like in terms of hobby, I did nothing. There was nothing to talk about. There was no news. There were no events. There were no releases, and I don't think I even like came into this hobby room except to nap, because it's got like awkwardly the most comfortable bed in my home, which Rob can attest to. And I was saved from that malaise by two things. One is Tabletop Simulator, because the more I play, the more I want to keep playing and painting and getting back into the hobby. And the second thing is Joseph Pagano, getting back on the horse with the podcast, you know, doing it more than once every 3 months, but trying to get it out monthly, and just making sure to call my one true love, Joe Pagano, as close to twice a day as I can. Really does help fix that Warhammer shaped hole in my heart. When lockdown started, he went on this like prodigious, really heavy hobby run, and he's leveled up his hobby game so much. And for a while, I was sitting there like resentful that my best friend was making these like huge strides, because I wasn't seeing those same strides because I wasn't painting, which is like a really ass backwards thing to feel, right? Like, why are you getting good at this? I want to get good at this, but I'm not willing to put in the time to do shit about it. And he had mentioned to me once that like he's like, you know, I take an hour every night just to paint once my daughter and my wife are asleep, and I get so much out of just having an hour of hobby. And in the last month, because of my hashtag spite streak, I've been having a really good time hobbying an hour or two a night, and it's made a huge difference in my mental health. And Rob, you messaged me about this recently. You said something like, "What happened? You seem so happy right now." And honestly, it's just saying I'll be fine with 6 hours of sleep instead of 7. I'm gonna paint for an hour and maybe jump in a hobby chat with some friends. It's made a huge difference.
Okay, that's lovely and lovely to hear. Bud, what about you?
Sorry, what was the question again?
What was your highlight for the year? Like, do you have a highlight wholesale?
So I got to know this person a lot more, and I feel like our relationship has become a lot better. And Tina, what are you doing? Oh yeah,
ice cream,
sure.
Tina.
Yeah,
ice cream.
Hold on. Hey, okay, yeah. Happy birthday street to you. Happy street day to you. Happy street dear Rob. Happy street day to you.
Tina, everyone. Tina, my favorite host of the Honest Wargamer. I would like to point out. Yeah.
Here, I don't know if you can see.
I'm so pissed I can't eat that. If anything, this is just super annoying. Thank you so much, Tina and Bud. That's lovely. Thank you. I wish. By the way, you guys watching, if you would like to hit !cake, you'll be entered into a prize draw for us to send you a slice. Don't eat it when it arrives. It will take hours. Are you just going to eat a whole cake now, Bud?
So I'm thinking of saving some of it for Dayton's birthday. I told him I was probably gonna eat it all before his birthday, but we'll see. If I eat half of it, then I can just like wipe off the icing, like the lettering, and just redo it. Uh, that's how the Mennonites do it. It's like, why buy 2 cakes when I can use 1 cake twice?
You should just leave the part to say happy, and then day, and like use white icing to get over where it says streak, so it can say happy Rob Day Dayton.
That's funny. Okay, and like the little rainbows, they're actually rings.
No, they're not.
Oh yeah, and there's 2 of them.
Oh, nice!
So I can send one to my BFF.
Is that Donald?
Yeah, he's my Irish. Hey, it's my Irish BFF.
Wow.
Okay,
Bold
so
to make an accent there.
I was talking about. So Tina said, because we watched the first hour, and I was like, what am I going to say? And she's like, well, obviously it's the Rage of Sigmar Discord. So that's probably been one of the best parts of this past year. Just feeling a lot more part of a community that's consistent. Like we're chatting online, probably like voice to voice, not just typing in stupid things, but like 3 times a week. I'm playing way more consistent, and that happened because Joe reached out in spring, and we were just chatting, and he's like, hey, do you want to play TTS? And we played a couple of times, and then we got this Discord, and it's like, I don't know, we have a really good group. And then Dayton's a great person at wanting to have people feel part of the community, and just him saying, hey, why don't you be on Party of the All Points? And it's like, okay, I don't really see myself as having enough to say every 2 weeks. That's why Rob only has me on every 3 months, because I pretty much use up all my material, and then I spend the next 3 months just building up my material again. But yeah, honestly, like being able to talk with Jacob and Joe and Dayton and all the other guys is pretty fabulous.
So if we can backtrack for just a second, you talking about your relationship with Joe, are you trying to make me jealous?
So
because it's working.
Actually, I thought, Jacob, we were going to announce today about the new Rage of Sigmar. The reason Joe's not on is because Jacob and Joe had a falling out, and we're
that was a private chat. Say it in the chat.
It's gonna be me and Jacob are now doing the Rage of Sigmar, but we're changing it. It's gonna be called the I had this all ready. It was great. It's gonna be the Sage of Gilmore, and we're gonna do a bros podcast about Gilmore Girls.
Nice. I obviously would like to be talked about as Jake consistently, as he's the only archetype and character who I am. I would feel I'm not much of a Lorelei. I don't have that level of sass. Okay, so what's the favourite thing you've both painted this year? That's the question.
Thanks for asking.
Thanks for asking.
Go for it. So what have you done, bud? You can
I'm not
use
done
words as well.
Oh,
No.
It's
no
right there.
Words for the podcast, guys. No words.
This is going to be a podcast? This is going to be a 10-hour podcast?
Yeah.
Wow. If you're still listening, I'm impressed.
Stay super hydrated.
8 glasses of water a day. I've been painting Archeon, and I have never spent this much time on a model. And I'm super excited with how it's turning out, and it'll be done just in time for the GHB nerf.
What was the impetus in wanting to do Archeon? What was it? And thank you to Rome R. Winters for subscribing. Also, big shout out to Alliance Open for being in the chat. What was the reason behind it, bud?
Truth be told, Tina told me that my New Year's resolution was stop trying to be a nice person and playing bad lists, and make a list that's actually good.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Honest truth.
So you were being buffed up, like you were getting the support from the good lady wife, and she was like, "Look, bud, you can't just keep trying to be a nice guy. It's a cutthroat world out there. You've got to put like the NOS in the tank, and you've got to drive that car Fast and Furious style sideways into a wall." Is that what you
she's
thought?
like, she's like, why are you playing bad lists? Are people gonna like you less if you play a good list? I'm like,
Hard-hitting questions.
Hey, when you've been married this long, then she knows how to cut deep quick. So yeah, I said, okay, I'll start playing a good list and see if people start hating me.
Okay, all right. Jacob, what about you? What was yours?
Probably my favorite thing I've painted has been this Marathi Shalaxi conversion. I did some. Oh, you can't see it. That's awful light in here. Well, I did some OSL on the runes on her belly, and I did some weird, freaky deaky rainbow spirals in the middle of the Fane portal. Looks just like that, actually. It looks exactly like Bud's ring, except full circles instead of just semicircles.
Jacob, question. Like, do you feel because everyone is kind of kitbashing Slaanesh and Daughters of Cain together? Do you feel like it's just part of an ongoing trend, and you feel like it's going to be everywhere? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked this question that doesn't make me angry or spiteful or have to go hobby for another 2 hours to make sure I fucking beat Magro to market. Yeah, I think so Daughters of Cain is the strong new book, and Slaanesh is the hot new model line. So it's only and like the two lines go together super well. Historically, there's been crossover armies with Daughters of Cain and Slaanesh in the past, with like the Realm of Chaos stuff, where Marathi was actually devoted to Slaanesh. So it's, and like the themes in the armies are very similar and compatible. So it makes a ton of sense that people are seeing that and going for the sort of combo army. The record should show that I did it first and I'm the best at it. Because I stole the idea from James Lynch before anybody else did. James Lynch notably won CanCon with a Slaanesh list, and he had this just fucking gorgeous Keeper of Secrets that had the bottom half was Marathi and the top half was a Keeper of Secrets, but he was just running it all as Slaanesh. And I picked his brain about how to do that conversion, and I've been doing this army for a little bit over a year, at least. I just have been really slow on execution. And I hate everyone who's doing it better than me, and everyone who's doing it worse than me. I'm just going to call you a copycat. And that pretty much covers the field.
That works. Okay, that works. Right, so next question. What has been your favorite interaction on the internet over the past 369 days? Like, has there been, or like your favorite bit of spicy drama? Or it can be whatever you want. Or you can do both. You can be like, I really had this wholesome conversation here, but I really enjoyed it when someone tried to sell an army via an illegal raffle. Like, any kind of, like, through...
Shout out to Brian, the hobby killer, at UberTechie on Twitter.
Yeah, you're doing great, Brian. Big love to you. Hope you're well. So, yeah, like, what are you...
Kisses.
I'm being serious. I just have a voice that... People are always like, you're being sarcastic. I'm like, no, I'm very sincere. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm a self-referential joke. It doesn't understand itself anymore. Who knows? Right, so, Jacob, you got any thoughts?
My favorite online interaction... it actually... So, it's a two-part answer. In our super secret Discord server, don't ask to join, we do little, like, basically RTT style TTS tournaments, and I got paired up against Benjamin, and he and I had talked here and there. We talked a little bit about hobby, and he had helped me actually with my Slaanesh daughters # Jacob did it first army, and he was super sweet and super helpful. And then he and I were chatting about our lists before we got paired up to play. And he said a couple things that were like either just like really blunt and he wasn't trying to be dickish, but like I couldn't tell if he was just being a total asshole to me or if he is just smarter than I am. And then we played, and he was the kindest, like most wonderful human being to play. I think to date that's probably my favorite game of TTS I've played was the one against Benjamin. Spoiler alert, I mopped the floor with him. And but seeing the difference between how like you can ascribe tone and value to words when someone is sending it via text or over Twitter or stuff like that, that just isn't there, because once I interacted with him for real over voice and played our game, I know there was no way he was ever being rude to me or any, like there was nothing of that kind of intent there, but I ascribed that because maybe I was projecting and I hate myself. I'm not really sure why that was how I read it, but it's sort of just like what you just said, Rob, where like people ascribe a value or assume things about an intent sometimes, and it just isn't there. It was all love, and it was amazing. We had a great game, and I beat him with his big brain Lumineth.
Yeah. Benjamin's an incredibly emotive person, and I find him kind, thoughtful, and fucks up. Like we all fuck up. I fuck up. Like everyone fucks up. Like it's superhuman. But I think being retrospective and and understanding oneself is very valuable and important. Bud, what about you? Interactions over the internet. What's your favorite highlight from the year?
Okay, there's two of them. The one of them was the poll I did on Twitter about who the Honest Wargamer's most savage guest of 2020 was, and the choices were Mark, Donal, and Tina. And Tina won the poll, and then Mark sent Rob a message and was like, "Who the fuck is Tina?"
Yeah, I think Tina and Mark would have the most fun. So Mr. Mark Wildman and Tina would have a great night out, I think. Or the worst. I can't decide.
That was amazing. I guess just some of the hobby hangs I've had with people where we're just painting and chatting about life. I know sometimes, kind of like Jacob said, where you just kind of lose interest in your hobby, and then maybe that's the indicator that something's going on, and that if you stay consistent with your hobby, it's actually helping out with your mental health. And sometimes when we get into a bad place mentally, then we stop doing the things that we enjoy, and it's kind of like that catch-22. It's like you should do this because it makes you feel better, except that you don't really want to do it because you're feeling so depressed. So, yeah, that's
okay. All right. Wow.
With
you guys got a lot of emotion. Bring a lot of emotion to the show. I'm really enjoying that.
What was your number one internet interaction, or aside from Uber Techie, obviously, love him.
I mean, again, I said nothing. It's such a weird conversation.
Shout out to Byron. Yeah, go on.
I don't know. It's been a year of I think I've learned a bit about being online for the year, because being alone for single alone for large portions of the lockdown, and living on your own. I felt like I was using my phone to socialize a lot. Be those in kind of WhatsApp conversations or calls. So I really only have two places to have calls. I have home, where the internet's not that good, so video calls don't work particularly well, and also all of my hobby stuff, all my work stuff, so painting and building and all that other stuff is here. And like I've said before, I don't have a very nice comfy chair, and also I'm in this box room for a significant portion of each day, so when I go home I don't tend to generally socialize online. So I think I was scrolling a lot, and there was also a lot to keep a track of. The American insurrection, generally a whole bunch of emotional issues online, which I care about a lot. I care about women's rights and Black Lives Matter rights and all those other things. Those things are all that really important to me, so I wanted to be a part of the conversation. But you can only really sometimes do that via when you're at home, being on your phone. And so I think I was using my phone to socialize a bit too much, really, via Twitter. So one of the things I did over Christmas is I just came off Twitter and I was like, look, the internet is a playground for fun. It's not a place to really communicate properly. Does that make sense? Like, that's in shows like this where we have like deep and honest conversations, or like just in person to person. And I think that's one of those things that I've learned. So I think like I've had some hilarious moments, some very funny moments all across the past year online. But I think one of the things I've learned is to try and not look for that every day, because like Bud was saying, like it's been a tough year for everyone, and so you kind of want to go and have fun, right? And when you can't sit outside a coffee shop and read a book, or go out dancing with your mates, or go play Warhammer with your friends, really, it really cycles down to, can I make some meanie jokes on the internet with my pals? Like, that's like some of your only options left. And so that's probably my number one weird in the interaction is learning not to do it quite as much, or just have some more fun with it. And be weird. Like, I only make referential jokes now, like super weird deep cut tweets that are like just for me and about 8 people. That's it. And I'm okay with that. Like, I don't want thousands of people like interacting with it. I'm just like, cool, this is just a little joke from something from earlier, which is cool with me.
Horsey, am I right?
All day. All day.
By the way, in the chat, if you put exclamation point horsey, you'll be entered into a raffle to join Darren and one of his family members of your choice in a threesome.
Yes. You will. Collaroo, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate that. Right, so thanks to K-Dread for saying I'm weird. Appreciate you. Ivory OP, big love. Right, so my next question. What is your favourite thing that's been released from Games Workshop over the past year? Any game system? Ooh, a stumper. Twitch chat.
A big winter FAQ.
Oh my god! Can I talk about that for let me be conscious of time because I want to get through the questions. Thank you to LCM for subscribing for the first time ever. Appreciate you. Welcome to the team and the gang. So I put up a tweet saying, like, so I did a show with Dayton. I was trying very hard to deal with the whole FAQ as lightheartedly as possible. Take the piss, enjoy myself, have some fun with it, not be emotionally connected to something that I'm very passionate about, which is the game. And then, like, I did a show with Dayton, and Dayton was like, it's fucking bang out of order. And I was like, it is, Dayton. It really is. Yeah, and I just put up a tweet, really like, Games Workshop, ODH Sigmar community, an apology. I thought that was, like, not aggressive. I was like, I think that's true. Like, that's what I would say in, like, loads of other situations. Like, I feel that that's fine. Some real negative feedback on that one. Like, people were like, no, how dare you? And I was like, okay. It's like, that's really entitled. Like, honestly, do you think that was entitled? Because I feel like you would want the game, you would expect a game company to develop their game well. Or do you feel like it was a bit entitled? Because I still don't know how I feel. Maybe it was. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I just want better for everyone and I'm a massive prick. Who knows?
I think them owing an apology is a fair thing to say. Ever wanting one would require them to have any sort of self-reflection or like any self-awareness whatsoever.
Okay. All right.
Or you're trying to apply, or having the assumption that a multi-million-dollar
billion
corporation,
with a B.
Oh yeah,
billion
billion-dollar corporation has feelings.
It's true.
Because you have to feel remorse to be able to say sorry, and it's hard for money to apologize.
But in the immortal words of Justin Bieber, is it too late now to say sorry? Because I'm missing more than just your body.
No words. No words. All right. So yeah. So I've given you some time to think. I hope you've thought about it. What was your favourite thing released over the year?
I don't know. There's nothing that really.
I love
grabbed
the DOK book.
Me.
The DOK book is just.
What do you like about it? So, Doctor Kane book. What do you like about it?
Every sub faction is a different play style. You can take the same, 12 or 13 units that are available in the book, and build vastly different lists. You look at a list that Benjamin puts together versus a list that Sam Morgan puts together versus a shitty list that Liam Burnett Blue puts together. Like there's so many different ways you can build in that book, and it lets you play to any different strength you want and play competitively with that strength.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Bud, what about you? What's your favourite release over the past year?
There was nothing that really jumped out at me that's like, oh, I have to get that. I mean, I was pretty excited about getting a new Dark Angels book and having them actually be good, because I play this Fringe game GW has, because I see Jacob's confusion. I play this Fringe game that GW has. It's called 40K. It's actually like AOS and set in the 41st millennium.
Cool.
So yeah, it's like space elves and space empire, and so
Is there a Dead Space Jesus?
yeah, there is
Sweet,
a
I'm in.
zombie space Jesus. Which one? There are three, right?
Oh yeah, sure. Is that the Father, the Son, or the Holy Ghost?
The I don't know, whichever one they put in a box.
Got it. So like fascist space pagans.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Sweet.
And I play the most paganist of them, as is appropriate. No,
You're
wait.
lying.
That's awesome. I can't even follow that up. You're amazing. I love you, Jacob.
Okay, so Dark Angels. I really just got put on to fan over Jacob is really what the point is. Okay, over the past year, what do you think? Thanks everyone in the chat for Pete saying it's not entitled. I don't understand the thought process that drives that. Joe Cryer saying Xbox apologised. So that's fine. So I appreciate you guys. It was just a weird one for me, and something I still question to this day whether or not having a conversation with my good friend Dayton like ended up me like posting this thing, and I was like, oh wow. But whatever, that's fine. So okay, what do you think was the most valuable thing you've learned over the past year? Like, there's been lots going on. I know Jacob, you pretty much like said something earlier on, but like, do you feel like there's like all other stuff like? It's been a time of self-reflection for everyone. What do you guys think?
Yeah, getting off Twitter or like getting off of social media as much as possible, like you said, and the value of pushing yourself to make time to hobby or do the things that refresh you on a daily basis.
Okay. Yeah. Bud, what about you?
I think taking the risk of reaching out to people, like just to talk or to play games. I hate doing that, and usually I depend on people contacting me. So then if they don't, it's like, why aren't people contacting me? And then they're like, why aren't you contacting me? So just being more proactive that way, that's definitely one of the things I've learned.
Would you say that's one of the things that I think is like a genuinely valuable point about the community as a whole, right? Like, I feel like we've all made that first go about joining the gang. Like, we've all gone to that tournament the first one time, which is scary. Like, it's scary. Scary for me. It was my first tournament experience. It was scary. I was like, oh my God, there's all these guys. They all know each other. Like, what the hell? Like, it is scary, right? I think one of the things that I'm going to be so voraciously serious about over the next couple of years, when COVID's over and everything is genuinely safe, is just work my balls off to get as many new people into the tournament scene as possible, whether it be my events or events I'm going to. That's one of the things I hate a lot, is events sell out. I hate that there is these that we have here in the UK. We have these like earmark events, and they're like, we're sold out. Yeah, next one, we're sold out. Sold out in minutes. Sold out. Not into that at all. Like, now I want to be like, cool, that one's sold out. Here are 3 more. Like, just go to events and make friends. I think that'll be a really, really important thing. Thank you to Caesar. You know I can't say this name at all.
Earl of Grey Tea.
Caesar Earl of Grey Tea for gifting 3 gift subscriptions. That's lovely of you. Thank you so much. Right, okay. And then my final question, or one of my final 2 questions, is best TV/film suggestion. This is for people. We've still got lockdown going on. People want stuff to watch. What's been your favourite thing that you've watched or been involved in this year?
Okay, I'm going to go. Based on the recommendations of a couple of very dear friends of mine, Tina and I started watching Community, and we are loving it. It is amazing. I also watched Narcos Mexico, which I really enjoyed.
So good.
Peaky Blinders and Dairy Girls. Claire, what are you doing?
Orla, this isn't. What about you,
do it,
Jacob?
mother.
Yeah, so aside from the obvious Queen's Gambit, which was just phenomenal, I've put a little bit more effort into actually watching Letterkenny, which really gives me a big insight into how Bud lives his daily life, I assume. I assume you're the fightiest, toughest guy in whatever part of Manitoba you live in. I don't know.
That's right.
You just fight Amish all day or Mennonites. And then a good friend of mine turned me on to the show on Amazon Prime. It's called Dwayne with a D. It's really good. It basically, like, if you took Guy Ritchie and had him direct Stand By Me, but Stand By Me was more like The Departed, and it was set in Boston. Yeah, well, I guess which is The Departed. Yeah, so that's Dwayne. For anyone who's trying to look this show up on Amazon Prime, and make sure if you ever talk to Rob about the show, you call it Dwayne. It's really good. It's really funny. It's heartfelt. There's great fight scenes and action, and yeah, those would be my top picks.
Okay, big shout out. Doesn't bother me at all that you called it Dwayne. As long as more people watch Wayne, I'm happy. I'm super
Dwayne?
okay with that. Thanks to Pete over in Northern Ireland who said we nailed the Northern Ireland accent there, bud. We got it. Orla, goddamn. Also, I love the accents in Wayne as well, but I can't do Boston at all, so I'm not going to try. But I can do
Joe
French
from
really well.
Boston.
Huh?
Isn't Joe from Boston?
Yeah, basically. I think.
Okay.
I think. Right, so with not long left on the clock before our next guests, if you've got any shout-outs, anyone you want to shout out, favourite content produced by someone else, something that you think's really good on the internet, things you want to direct people to, like stuff for the game, the hobby, videos you liked, any of that stuff. I'll give you a minute to take a moment on it.
So there's this new podcast up and coming. It's called Party at the All Points, and it's really not very good. But twice they've had hydrate. Twice they've turned the mic over to Nicole, who is Dayton's wife, who also plays Warhammer, and she's had on a bevy of lovely lady content creators. And so they've had 2 ladies' night episodes, and those have been 2 of my favorite episodes that they've done. If you want to follow her on Twitter, she doesn't post that much, but if we all follow her and like make her into a big deal, then she'll actually realize that she's a big deal. On Twitter, it's Rocksteezy. That's ROCKSTEEZY. If you put ! Rocksteezy in the chat, you will be entered into a raffle to win a date with her husband, Dayton. And so anyway, that's one of my biggest shout outs is Nicole. She and I actually played a game of TTS where I played the new Slanesh and she played Ideneth. I think it was probably her like 5th or 6th game of AOS. And it went about as expected, where I had no models left on the table after turn 3. And she just mollywopped me. And then my other shout out is obviously to my soulmate, Joe Pagano. Also, my 2 AOS man crushes that haven't developed into full-fledged relationships yet, which are Dan Unsupervised and Jawan Noah Singh, who is not on Twitter, but if you can find him either in person or somewhere on the internet, maybe play him on TTS, because I've never met someone who deploys and piles in better than Noah, and he's amazing. And he has long, beautiful hair.
And a beautiful mustache.
Oh, God, everything about him is great. If I wasn't already committed for life to Joe Pagano, it would be to Noah.
Bud, what about you? Where's your shout-outs going?
Oh, man, I don't watch a lot of stuff on the internet other than The Honest Wargamer or listening to podcasts related to The Honest Wargamer or part of the Rage of Sigmar podcast radio network. I guess shout out to my new BFF, Joe Pagano, who loves to hang out with me every day.
Fuck you, bud. Not stealing my man. Get my man's name out your mouth, bud.
I'm a home wrecker. I don't know. There's lots of good people. Who did you raid yesterday? She was amazing.
Fox Art. Yeah, she was in the chart, but she just left.
She was amazing. And like all those people who subscribed or who followed yesterday, like make sure you when she's on, if you notice on a weekend when she's on,
Oh, she's
pop in
lurking.
for a while.
She's around.
Oh, is she? Oh, she's still lurking. Yeah, make sure you go in and check out. Because like first of all, that Care Bear banner on the Space Marine was freaking amazing. I loved it.
Also,
there's
yeah,
there was a lot
sorry,
of love
carry
in
on.
this house for that. There's a
Yeah,
lot of love. Like I showed it to my daughter, and she's like, she didn't even notice the Care Bear first. First of all, she's 17, by the way, not 10. She said, "Oh, that's a cool color scheme." I said, "Wait," and I zoomed in on the banner, and she's like, "Whoa, that's freaking awesome!" So it's very cool.
Care Bear stare. That is what fucked us up. That is what fucked this entire generation up. Big shout out to Dave Chappelle. We're all like, don't worry, we can defeat things with the power of love. Yeah, we can Care Bear stare the fuck out of any problem. And then we became adults, and that was not true in any way, shape, or form.
Rampant late-stage capitalism. All we've got to combat that is Marxist Morgan on Twitter.
That's it. All right, well, listen, it's been lovely having you both on. Thank you very much for joining us and for being yourselves for the past year and everything else in the future. You guys are great. Thank you very much.
If you want to follow Bud on Twitter, he's at Budtastic Guy. Mm-hmm. And you can also find him on the Party at the All Pointses on iTunes and Podbean. And are you guys on Spotify yet?
I have no idea. I don't. Maybe. Dayton, are you in the chat? I hope so. I don't do them technical stuff.
So that's where you can find Bud.
Thanks. And you can find Jacob at Big Jables on Twitter. He also lives in the southeastern U.S., so you can drive down there to see him.
I didn't even ask you about...
And he is also on the Rage of Sigmar podcast.
I didn't even ask you about NashCon. I'm really excited about NashCon. I think it's going to be...
I got my ticket.
Yeah.
But I have to get vaccinated first.
So
August 21st and 22nd, if you can get in the country, get on the wait list and show up. If you get here and you don't have a ticket, you can have my spot, and I'll just, help run the tournament.
Right, listen, lovely having you both on. We're going to take a break now. We'll be back with 3 superstars. Speckles, who may well have been scammed again by a Chinese scammer. We also joined by Math Mallow, our resident statsman and Sylvaneth expert, and also Mr. Adam Mumford, the Warhammer Freedom Fighter, is who's up next. There is a show very excitedly. Nick and Tom are on the show after, which is going to be really fun. Let me just give it a quick one to make it. I got this right. Nick and Tom are on 3 to 4, and then 4 till 5. Mr. Vince Ventrella with his co-host, Mr. Nathan Prescott. Looking forward to that little meeting of minds.
Wow.
So it's going to be super fun. Anyway, thank you very much, Bjorn. We're going to take a small break now. I'm going to put up that video again. I'm just going to use this all the time as I get the other people in, and I'll be back soon. Goodbye.
Fuck you, Bud.
Bye.
Hello, welcome to Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. It's the start of a very exciting series of videos. It's the streak. It's the best streak in the world. Hello to everyone who's joining us live, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. I'm in the studio on my own, but that doesn't mean I'm alone. I'm going to try and do this every day, 7 days a week, until confinement is over. If you want to watch more stupid stuff, keep tuning into the show. And it's time for the Hunker in the Bunker Day 8. Oh, easy. Not even difficult. Can't wait for day 80. Dude, our date is in day 2 of 84. Just realizing that I might be doing a daily show for 84 days in a row is a bit. I've just seen the long future for me, and that's fun.
You got to give the people
what they want.
So it's
I'm on it.
It's a grey kind of flecky option today with a Nike trainer. That's what I'm rocking today. I have got them pulled up as far as they go.
That's what I do. Why wouldn't you ever do that?
At what point do you just pull all the leather out, smack some war paint on, and start hunting for gasoline?
Well,
I reckon it's up to Nathan.
The line art and then put up high quality versions of them so that people can print them off for their little ones or for themselves, just colour in and keep themselves busy.
If you join the chat, you are one of the hashtag Grot Gang.
Well, I'll get to all that. I got to get through the housekeeping first. So Bud Kaler, a.k.a. Budtastic Guy's appearance on The Honest Wargamer is brought to you in part by the Budtastic Group of Companies, a subsidiary of the Rage of Sigmar media conglomerate.
Anyway.
It's all coming out now.
A whole bunch of people are like, and time to turn this one off today. This is only Stream Streak Day 3. I can't wait to be like,
fucking Alex Jones in Extreme Street Day 27.
She's marinating a brisket.
Yeah, so she's slow cooking a brisket, and
Wow.
it smells so nice.
I didn't know that's what people called it for their birthdays, but if that's what you guys call it,
Now, this isn't DIY. Can you see?
you got to be a bit higher, a bit higher.
Oh, there he is. Oh, bless. Oh, actually, I can.
He's got a wheel! Darren, he's got a wheel!
Oh no, come out there. But I keep getting woken up by really painful erections.
When I was a young boy.
I'm going to do a little Robert Austin. He's going to do a little show here. Top 3 bad Batman movies.
Well, number 1 would have to be.
Well, interestingly, the question was, how do you both feel about the Gargants? And the answer is massive erections.
Because I'm doing kind of unit by unit rather than kind of getting distracted. Oh, that was.
Oh my God, John! What's cracking? It's been an interesting week. Hey?
Why? What happened?
The FAQ.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. The
Yeah, that
FAQ.
was cool.
I thought you meant the armed insurrection in the United States of America. My bad.
No, I'm not wearing a leather jacket that's got speckles on it.
Yeah, I mean, if they're more than 100 points, then that's too much, to be honest.
Okay. Well, there are 140 points.
That's too much, then, to be honest.
All of 2 people. It's a bit like the Legion of Asgore group, right?
Hey, we're a thriving community. If anyone wants to just clip this clip right now, 100% Age of Sigmar 3, whenever that rolls around, 100% is going to be exactly the same. It's going to be that, that board specification. You, Pete Pratt, I see you're still in bed, and that's after organising a Age of Sigmar event yesterday, a socially distanced one in Northern Ireland. I see that Archie still didn't win anything. You don't know Archie Dayton, but you'd like him a lot. He is, he's a trier. Like Croak, who hasn't changed fucking points, which makes no sense. It makes no sense. What the fuck is that? And I love it because he's my favourite model. And if we can all do it, let's just fucking do it. Hey, you buy a Croak, I'll buy a Croak. We'll all just fucking use Croak, and it'll be the best year of our lives.
But you can't because he's sold out.
Innes Wilson, you won't be able to do it because they both look like a thumb. Greetings from the homeschooling world, Vengeance from Sylvania. I'm pretty sure my kid's reception teacher was sent by Sinesh to distract me from providing world-class homeschooling. Wow. Wow, loads to unpack there. Thank you so much. It's because we always do it live. You work to your skills, right? You can't prep, so you do live. Find a list of... Oh my God. No one tell Vince I said this. I would like to see a group of generic artifacts that people could choose from. Again, no one tell Vince I said that. Let me just check my calendar. Yes. I'm free.
Hold on. Yep, me too.
Nick, you brought up a really interesting point before the start of the show, actually, which I thought we could talk about.
Yeah, I'm an interesting person.
It used to be a 65? Are you sure your base isn't a 65 mil base?
Oh, I've found a tape measure. Yes. Oh, I knew I had one.
A builder that had to find a tape measure.
Yeah, they always have to find one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is a 65. That's the one I came on. So I've got to change the space. Oh.
Who also made a Sex for Seniors video. Really good watch.
Nerfed.
Fuck those guys.
Uh-huh.
Fucking cutting my base down now.
Do that, and I shall take the girls to the ball, but there's no balls and no girls, so don't clip that. Oh yeah, and Wahapedia, sorry, the one-man show, says he will have everything updated for 9th by next weekend at the latest. There you go, which is a searchable database. A searchable database of the information, which isn't a long list of shit.
Games Workshop said they'll have a quick